talking about, like, some people always talk about mind games. You see Joe or Deegan was having some fun there in practice, and do you think he was trying to play mind games with Joe, or not really? Like,
I think that, honestly, I think the points were too far out for mind games. I think it's more or less Haiden just putting his last stamp on the pro motocross, since we won't see him in the 250 class next year, for outdoor for pro motocross. He'll be 450 for pro motocross next year. So I think it was kind of like his swan song of the Haiden era in the 250 class, right? So we'll see him for 26 in the 250 class, but as for 26 outdoors, he will be 450. So I just think he was making a statement, putting his mark on that 250 class, his last race. That's kind of what he's known for at this point, right? Is giving us a lot, all of us fans, all of us media, a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Hey, Hector, can you roll that interview of Haiden on his podium speeches for Moto 1 and Moto 2, please?
When I want to win, I win, and that's what I do. That's 4 in a row. So I'm stoked. Back-to-back outdoor champs. Just what we do, though. That's what we do over here. And thank you to my family, my mom, my dad, my whole team, Stars Yama. Yeah, I told my mechanic, I'm like, watch this. I'm going to sprint. I'm going to kick their ass. And then I did. So that's what we do. And Duff's like, well, you did it. I don't know what this is there for. It hit the key in the middle. We're live. We'll see who wants to sit next to the king.
All right, welcome back, race fans. We are now.
I mean, look, man.
Go for it, dude. Go. Take it away.
He has the position at this point to be able to do that, especially in the 250 class. So, the question I have is what happens if this 450, outdoor 2026 pro motocross for 450 class doesn't go the way he wants it to or expects it to. I predict that he's going to have a learning season for sure on the bigger bike. And I'm going to be flat out honest. Joe is no Jet, and Jet is no Joe. Jet right now is in my opinion the most disciplined on the motorcycle for Supercross and pro motocross. So if he thinks that he's going to be able to have that same, I guess, attitude and thought process jumping into the 450 class, I predict a rude awakening one way or another. Maybe I'm wrong. The quality and the standard that Jet and Hunter and Eli and all of those 450 guys have is as you know, RC is much different than the 250 class. I felt pretty confident coming into the 450 class, thinking that I was going to be able to, do, well right off the bat. Well, it took me 2 years. Now Haiden, I will say, what isn't me, and I wasn't Haiden, and Haiden is more prepared than I was going to the 450 class. He's probably more prepared than you going to the 250 class at this point.
100%.
So,
100%, yeah.
The evolution of the sport, the training, the riding, the bikes, all of that is he's more prepared than both of us. But I think he's raced, when he moves up to race Jet, I think it's going to be a different animal in that class. That's just what I have to say.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It will be a lot of fun, a lot of racing left until we get to Pro Motocross Championship. There's going to be a lot of next year when Haiden makes that switch. I've said it numerous times, just in the pits, locker talk, whether it's here on this show with you, RV. I would be surprised if there's not a learning year there. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, what he can do and how well he's done. He's been able to stay healthy. That's one thing. More than anything, you explained it well here, that the 450 is different. And that's not saying he's not going to win and he's not going to do well, but it's just that those guys, like you said, are a different standard. Eli and all those dudes. Most guys that he's going to be racing against are multi-time champions in the 250 level. And that's not really the case of who he's racing against in the 250 class right now. So for me, kind of like you, RV, that's where the difference is. And you know what I think is going to be, I wouldn't even say an eye opener, but, and maybe not even a surprise, but just kind of like a, damn, I don't know if I was expecting that, is dudes that are running fifth and that are running sixth. And when you're trying to catch up, it's just going to be harder to go blowing by those guys. And, you know, I think there'll be a humbling experience once in a while. But at the end of the day, after he works everything out, like you explained it, dude, it took me 2 years. And it took you 2 years. I think, like you said, yeah, the learning curve is a little bit quicker. There's way more resources. I mean, they are super in tune. His dad does a really great job at putting things in front of him, putting programs in front of him that is going to get him the best result. But at the end of the day, it's still, he's going up against the best in the business. And I think quietly he knows it. I mean, some of this is, you know, just antics and having fun, and you know, they're no dummies by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think that he respects those guys. He may not play like he does, but I think at the end of the day, he knows they all know those guys are bad to the bone. That's my opinion. And
I think RC, a lot of it, and I think a big portion of it too is they're very smart. Brian and Haiden are very smart marketing people. You know, they're marketing themselves, and I think Jet had said it. You know, I think there's people that want to build this rivalry between them, and rivalries are always good to have inside the sport. And I think that's kind of what Haiden is after too. He's after building up the hype, building up that rivalry, even before it starts, right?
Yeah.
So it's making each of them. Hayden's becoming more valuable doing what he's doing, and Jet is becoming more valuable by what Hayden's doing from that marketing standpoint. So I think they're very smart at what they're doing, but it's going to be interesting to see, in the future, if things don't go as planned or as they foresee it, how he changes his tune, or what, how does he redirect, or how does he, change what he work and change on what he needs to work on.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports. If you enjoyed what you just watched, well, it's time to bring the action and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel. You can have it all: news, highlights, interviews, and analysis. So go for it.